More than 2 months after floods washed through McCook Lake, residents are still waiting on assistance from government officials. It wasn't until mid-August, 7 weeks after the flood, the disaster declaration was made in the state of South Dakota. KTIV's Connor Trett caught up with one McCook Lake resident who is reacting to the city, county, and state's response to those historic floods.
And then this is just what's left. This was our bedroom. This was my bathroom right here. And this was the utility room.
10 weeks after flooding came through McCook Lake, Amy McDonald, her family, and many other families in that community are still waiting on answers from their local, county, and state governments on next steps.
I haven't talked to a single person that has gotten a solid answer out of any level of government. What we're relying on our city council for is to make sure that these answers are getting there, right? They should be the ones that are standing in pier right now and demanding somebody up there telling us, what are we supposed to be doing? Who's in charge of this mess? And you know, that's what we're looking for them to do, and we're not seeing that either.
McCook Lake residents say they've seen a staggering difference in the responses by the state of South Dakota and the state of Iowa in response to the flooding in late June.
It took how many weeks to get that declaration signed while these people sat here with absolutely nothing. And those people across the river, and I mean, it is a stone's throw. I can see it from here. They had their FEMA checks. They had all the what they needed, the supplies. They had everything they needed to get done. And to put their houses back together and put their lives back together. And you're still looking at the same devastation that we had over 2 months ago.
FEMA representatives came back to McCook Lake on Sunday. Renee Hansen of the Isaac Walton League says that those representatives were surprised to hear about what she calls the lack of answers and assistance that the residents were receiving.
And this was kind of its main path, was right down through this piece.
And the FEMA reps were like, that's not okay. Y'all need to do something. You need more help. This is a big disaster, and this is beyond the scope of what our tiny community can handle. We voted for all of these people to hold the offices that they're holding, and now these people are abandoning us.
If we go to the meetings, we ask the questions, but there's no answers. And that has to get remedied. We got to know what we're supposed to do. Give us something to go on. People need to know what to do. We're all just sitting in a limbo.
And Hansen told KTIV that FEMA representatives suggested to McCook Lake residents to look into submitting a congressional inquiry, which could potentially launch a congressional investigation into government officials.